Now, turning waste into something useful is the focus of countless research proposals around the world, as is finding ways to harness energy from renewable resources. And you can't get more renewable than urine. That's why scientists here in the UK are delighted to have discovered a way of charging mobile phones with it. Guess you could call it a pay-as-you-go tariff. That's the joke over. Now, the scientist behind all of this is Dr. Ioannis Ieropoulos from the Bristol Robotics Laboratory, and he joins us now from our Bristol studio. And with me too in the studio here is journalist Samantha Barry, who trains in technology in developing countries. And delighted to have you both with us. Ioannis, let me come to you first of all. Just give me the very basic, simple science of this.
We've been using a technology known as the microbial fuel cell, which essentially employs live microbes that feed on urine in this particular instance. And electricity is a byproduct of their metabolism.
So if you are generating electricity, presumably the use of urine then is not just limited to charging your mobile phone?
No, that's right. What we're looking to further develop is a technology that can be implemented in numerous applications all over the world.
I tweeted something about this earlier, and someone then tweeted back saying, for goodness sake, don't try and pee over your mobile phone, that won't help. What do you do without being too graphic, if you see what I mean?
That's very true. So the microbial fuel cell is like an energy converter. And it's a device where liquids go in and come out. The mobile phone is connected at the other end of the device through its charger plug. So we're not necessarily bringing the mobile phone close to contact with urine. We feed the urine into these microbial fuel cells, which work like biological batteries. And the electricity that's generated as a result of the process that goes on inside, that's what's being used to charge the mobile phone.
And how much interest have you had from the mobile phone companies in developing this commercially, or not a lot? I mean, just interested to know.
I don't think we've had any interest from mobile phone companies just yet. The paper only went out yesterday. It went live. But in the developing world, we've been getting funding from the UK Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council, EPSRC, the Technology Strategy Board, but also from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So this is where we're receiving some significant support in order to be able to bring this technology to remote communities in countries of the developing world.
Okay, well, let me bring in my colleague Samantha Barry now, because you've been looking closely at this. It's interesting, isn't it, that if you're in the first world, you're probably not going to develop projects like this because who's interested, you can afford the electricity, whereas developing technology for the third world is really important.
And it is really important, as you said. I mean, most developers and tech developers in Silicon Valley in the US or in Silicon Roundabout here in the UK, they assume three things. They assume that you have unlimited access to electricity. They assume that you have an unlimited broadband connection, good Wi-Fi, and they assume that you can afford that high-end device, that iPhone, that smartphone. For millions of people around the world, that is not the reality. They don't have access to electricity. If they have a phone, the likelihood is it's a feature phone. They can text on it, they can phone on it. And so some of the most interesting technologies that are coming out in the last couple of years have been out of developing countries because they solve the problems that happen in those communities. And so this innovation, while it's funny and it can have some good puns, it actually will make a real difference for people that can't access electricity to charge their phone.
Sam, you talked about some of the other innovations that are going on. For example, like what?
There's some great things, and a lot of them are based around that lack of electricity. So there's a Kenyan developer in his 20s. He's looked at a chip that you put into your shoe, and it's the power of pedestrians. So you walk, and you can charge your phone with that. There's even just we take for granted what we have in our smartphone and the apps and the amount of information and technology we have in our hands. With a basic feature phone, you have farmers in Sierra Leone setting up market networks, or fishermen in Indonesia getting text when they have fishing coming in, and they take it straight to the market, and there's their catch isn't ruined.
Fantastic, really interesting stuff. Sam and Ioannis, both of you, thank you very much indeed for being with us. Thanks so much. Now, remember the winter that wouldn't go away in Europe? Well, here in the UK, we had a topsy-turvy temperatures, with March being colder than February, February being colder than January. You get the picture. And every month so far, we've had below average temperatures until now. That is because we've got a heat wave. And Phil Avery is here to tell us whether it's going to last. It is all a bit extreme, isn't it?
You absolutely condensed the misery of